Hey folks, welcome to Online General Stats. I'm Mrs. Landon and I'm going to be teaching this semester-long course to you over the online version. What I want to do in this video is give you an overview of what you can expect to learn in this course and to give you a feel of how it is actually going to operate for the various chapters for learning. Now, in general statistics, what we're going to be doing is covering 6 units in one semester. The first 2 units deal with probability and odds. It does tend to be a little more challenging for students, but it's very doable. And once we're done with those first 2 units, then we move on to the next category of exploring data, which is chapters 3, 4, and 5. This one's going to deal more with analyzing data, graphing data, something called the normal distribution, maybe you're not familiar with, in kind of covering those concepts. Then we wrap up our semester-long learning with chapter 6, which is on sampling and experimentation, where you're going to learn how do you make a good survey? What kind of surveys are good and bad, so we can get that data and analyze it. In this course, you are going to find staying on pace and deadlines and things like that. We'll talk about a little bit more when I talk about how the course operates, but I do recommend you stay on pace. You don't want to get too far behind in here. If you do, you are going to be at risk of not getting homework points because they can't be made up once you hit deadlines. And again, we'll address that a little bit more. Talking about deadlines, I do have this right here on our course, and which is also going to be a handout for you with all of our deadlines posted. So you're going to know what assignments have to be done, when is the deadline. Once we've hit a deadline, you can no longer earn points in Skyward for this. Now, if you do it in Schoology, sure, you'll get the points, but if it's past the deadline, I will not push those into Skyward. So you really want to stay on pace with that. Now, if I go into this folder, I want to talk about how is this course really going to operate. If I scroll down here first, I really want to talk more here about the learning structure and the assessment structure. So the learning structure here, again, I already covered. It's going to be 6 chapters, basically 3 chapters one quarter and 3 the next quarter. You're going to be watching and listening to YouTube videos. So this is important. Also listen to it. Just don't turn on the video and look at the notes that are being written down. Put in some earbuds, turn the volume up so you can hear it. Most of the homework is going to be in the form of a green puzzle piece. You're going to have 3 attempts on the green puzzle pieces to do your best. Once you've hit the 3rd one, you cannot try it anymore, and that's the score you will get. Now, because of that, what a lot of students will do is once they hit try 2, if they're still struggling with the concept, will reach out to me. I'll get them help, give them the help that they need, and then they'll try their 3rd attempt on that one. You may also have times where there's assignment uploads where you take a picture or photo of your work, and I look at that manually and grade it. You're going to have end-of-unit discussion posts that are worth 1 attempt on that try of a discussion post, an end-of-unit review assignment, which is going to be another green puzzle piece, but this green puzzle piece, you only get 1 try on the review. And then it's going to wrap up with a paper-based summative assessment that you come into the classroom and take. Now, the assessment structure for that is, again, the summatives are all in person. Your formative work is all going to be done online, but the summative is paper-based. So how this is going to work for testing is you are going to be assigned a win session, and you're going to attend that win session and take your test. Basically, the goal is to have everyone test on the same day at the same time. It's really good for test security, and it's a good time too to get everyone together as a class, and you can kind of see who is in your class with you if you aren't aware of who that is. So you will be seeing more about this assigning you to a win time and coming in. When our first chapter test comes in, I will talk more about that. If you don't attend the win session, by the way, that is the deadline. And if you miss the test, it would be a 0 and you can't make that up, and it would not be retakeable. So that's really important to be cautious of in that case. Retakes, just like the math department policy, in order to qualify for a retake, first thing is it cannot be the last test of the quarter. Those tests typically are not going to be retakeable. Again, last tests of the quarter are not retakeable. If it does qualify for retakeable, you have to have all of your formative work by the time the original assessment is first administered. And it has to be done at an adequate level. For you guys, if you're content with doing your homework and getting 60% on your homework, that's fine. I don't care. That's what's going to go into Skyward. However, you will not qualify for retaking. If you want to qualify for a retake, you must be at least 70% proficient on all of your formative work in that chapter. If you are not, it means you didn't give it an adequate enough of a try. So that's why I said when you hit try 2, if you want help to get at least that 70%, come and see me. And again, that's going to be it to even qualify for a retake. Now, communication, because of an online course, clearly you're not in the classroom every day and I can't talk to you. I use Schoology updates a lot. So you're going to want to make sure that you subscribe to the Schoology update notifications. It's your responsibility to be able to do that. So if you do it, by the way, if we go into the course, your notifications are going to be right up in here. And what I would do is I would subscribe to the course update posts for sure, and maybe any comments on those posts if I add some extra information. Those are the ones at a minimum I would recommend that you subscribe to. Okay, and that's going to bring us back. Let me hop back over here. So those updates too, what I tend to do is the start of every week, I will do an update post. Sometimes those posts will include videos. If they include videos, again, watch and listen to it, folks. Listen to those videos. Every now and then I have someone coming in asking me a question, which I specifically stated on those videos. So it is your responsibility. I also like to use Skyward progress reports. Typically before a chapter is coming to an end, I'll do a progress report kind of saying where students are, what still needs to be done. I send those home to you and to your parents so that everyone gets that communication. I will also use your 277 apps email. So it is your responsibility to ensure you check your email every day. If I communicate with you via email and you do not respond to me, that's on you. That's not on me. This is an online class and it is expected it's checked every single day. Okay, that's overall how the course is going to work. Now, let's talk about the syllabus and kind of more detailed kind of expectations. You are going to be taking a little syllabus quiz at the end of this, so just pay a little close attention and read the syllabus. Some of the highlights we've already talked about too is, again, subscribing to those notifications. That's incredibly important. Like all of our courses here at the school, we are 20% formative, 80% summative. You are going to have, for every unit, again, 6 units, about 2 to 3 deadlines per unit. And I post the deadlines. It's going to be very clear where the deadlines are. And if you miss a deadline, all of the work up into that deadline that's not completed gets a 0, and you can never earn those points back. But to take the summative test that's coming up, you're going to have to do the learning and actually do the homework. So I think you're crazy if you don't try to make that deadline, because you have to do the learning anyway. You might as well get the points for it. Because we are an online class, snow days doesn't matter for us. Now, as a school policy, the first official snow day actually is going to be a no class day for everyone, except for us. If we have something posted for that day, it is your homework assignment. We're an online class. We do not need to be in the brick and mortar building for that. Now, after that first snow day, any other subsequent snow days all do have class, so it's really not any different for you. But again, if I change anything on that, I'll just do an update post, so please make sure you subscribe to those. The green puzzle pieces we already talked about here. You have those 3 attempts on the normal assignments. The review assignments is only 1 attempt, so be cautious on that. And you want to do those discussion posts also, which will be graded on a rubric scale where I look at your comment and see what kind of score it should get. Now, the summatives, again, it is 80%. You can expect to have 6 summative assessments, 3 per each quarter. You will be coming to my classroom during a win time on the scheduled posted date. Now, for tests, the posted day on Schoology is also the deadline. That's really the only exception to the chapter. Typically, if you have an assignment within the formative section that's posted, you might have a couple days of wiggle room before the official deadline comes up. But on tests, what you see posted, that due date is the deadline, so be very cautious of that. And again, look at the win time. If you don't make that win time, you are going to end up getting a 0 on that test and cannot make it up. So it's very important that you take a look at those. Retakes, again, school policy, we talked about having all the formative work in, but let me reiterate this. In the math department, the maximum grade you can get on a retake is an 85%. Let's say you take your original test and you got an 87%. You're not going to retake to try to get a higher point because you can't. You cannot exceed 85% on your retake. And your second score of your retake test is the official score. So if you do worse, that's what technically would go into the grade book. So be cautious and thoughtful on that. For the relearning, you are going to find I do note packets, and in the note packet, you will have the relearning task already there. If you're going to retake, you're going to know it, and you're going to go get that relearning task and complete that and get it in to Schoology before the deadline for the retake. And again, we'll talk more about that as the first retake time comes up. A course grading, very standard with a school, the exact same school policy. Cheating, be very careful, folks. In an online class, sometimes the formative work, it can be a little wishy-washy, especially on if you're turning in the exact same work as another student. If you're working together with somebody else, please make sure it is your own work and not being plagiarized. If I do see homework that is copied, it obviously is a cheating violation, so be cautious with that. Similar with test taking, cheating on that would qualify for going to the school discipline committee with other consequences on that one too. In terms of calculators, scientific calculator is adequate for this course. If you have a TI 83 or higher, I would bring that one though too. The graphing calculators are always nice to have. If you don't have one and you want to get your hands on one, Mr. Sobiak is in charge of the graphing calculator loaning program. It's a first come, first serve. So once they are gone, he has no more to loan out. So see him sooner rather than later. Again, the communications we've already talked about. Needing help though, if you need help from me, my room, when I'm going to be in my room is right here listed in the schedule. Those are the times I will be in my room. The times I am not in my room are going to be listed right here. So please take a note at that one. If I'm not in my room and you need to find me, just shoot me an email. Now on email, you need to be really careful. This happens probably 20% of the time to folks. When you go into the email system and you're in the building and you start typing Landon, the first Landon that pops up is Landon D. I am Landon N. My first name is Nicole, so it's going to be a double N right there. If you send it to Landon D, I am never going to get that email. So be very, very cautious on that. Okay, so that is the syllabus, and that's the quick overview of the course. I'm going to wrap this up really quickly and spend just a few minutes and show you what you could expect to see in a particular chapter. So, for example, chapter 1 is on probability and odds. These are the learning objectives that are going to be covered. When you click into the folder, you're going to have a note packet within here. I have already printed out these note packets. If you go in here, I'll do the quick sneak peek. This is a PDF document. If you're using an iPad for note taking, what students will do is take this PDF document, download it to their iPad, and take their notes via that way. That's great. Other people, a lot of them like the hard copy notes. They will come and get the note packet from me. Some people want to use notes in their own notebook. That's great too. I don't care how you take the notes. You will not hurt my feelings if you don't want a note packet. But the only reason I give you note packets, though, is because of a statistics class. A lot of our notes involves tables and graphs, and it's hard to replicate that in your notes. So I think the note packets are great, but again, you can use those if you want to or not. And you're really just going to walk through here. You would start with an introductory video. You're going to notice here your first assignment is in this folder. Now, this one covers 3 sections. Just because it's in one folder doesn't mean it's like 1 days of work. Sometimes this might encompass 2 days of work. Sometimes 2 folders might encompass a full day of work. You're going to notice right here a deadline. It's clearly stating your first deadline for sections 1.1 to 1.3. Get everything in by 3 p.m. that day. Otherwise, anything undone is a 0, and you're not going to be able to make up those points. Now, if I go into this folder, I can do the little sneak in there. That's fine. I like to use pages though. So when you do pages, you don't get to see that. I personally like to click right here so that the page automatically opens up. You can read the introduction, talks about what you're going to accomplish. Just read that, watch your video, take some notes. Then in here, you're going to have these 2 green puzzle pieces. Now, what I did is I actually printed out this homework and I included it in the note packet. I like having a backup plan for technology. I have all of the homework puzzle pieces in the packet. So let's say you can't get on Schoology, you could do the homework actually in the packet. When you're ready to get your homework graded, submit it on the green puzzle piece and see how you did. Again, 3 tries on this one to get that done. You're going to see that again for this section and so forth. Now, if we scroll down a little bit more into chapter 1, we're going to see here's your second deadline right here. And then you're going to have your next section and then the review coming up with the 3rd deadline. This is the review assignment I was talking about. You get 1 try. It's in here along with the discussion post that you should do. Now, the summative assessment on this one, again, you are going to be assigned a win session. So kind of ignore what it says here about this testing registration form. That does not apply anymore. You will be testing during win and you will already be locked in for that session. So again, take a look and see how that works. I have looked for all you link crew leaders when you are available and not available. So hopefully I've assigned you to the proper win time. If not, please talk to me. Retake, talked about that a little bit already. We'll talk more about that as we kind of dive into this unit and when we get to chapter one's test and retake comes up. So that is really it for your overview. I am in room C205 if you need to find me generally. Again, I kind of come and go because the room is also being used by other teachers. So if you need to find me, please just email me. Come on in and make sure you've gotten your materials and you start the course and stay on pace. So welcome to Online General Stats, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.